Go. All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Super excited to be here. Today, we're going to talk about creating an economic model in order to hit your goals. When I'm looking at the goals, what I want you to focus on is the next 12 months, or we can have a conversation around 2025. And Stephen Covey from Seven Habits of Highly Effective People teaches us to begin with the end in mind. So, what's the end in mind when you're setting goals? Are your goals based on gross income? Are they based on net income? And let's just say, for example, your goals are based on gross income. You have a goal of $300,000 GCI. I'm going to walk you through the model in order to create a plan to earn $300,000 in gross commission income. Now we're going to start at the top with that's the goal, 300,000. And we're going to take away 16,000 as our cost of sale. A cost of sale is anything that is directly related to the sale of a property. So most of you here are with EXP, so I'll just use that as a model. You're on an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. So your cost of sale is $16,000. Now, you realize and understand that there's a $250 transaction fee that kicks in after that, and you can add that up and put it in the model, but I want to keep it simple just for today's conversation. Another example of a cost of sale is if you're paying somebody a referral fee, that's a cost of sale. So when you're creating a budget and a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement, these show up as cost of sales, anything that is directly related to the sale to a sale. Now, another example of a cost of sale is if you have a team and you have buyer agents on your team, for example, and your buyer agents are earning 75%. So that is a cost of sale that would show up on your balance sheet as a cost of sale. Okay, I don't want to get too much down a bunny trail. Let's keep going. So you have a $16,000 cost of sale cap. You have a gross commission income of $300,000. And in the budget model, you're also going to look at an average of 10% for marketing. So that would be $30,000. And you could call it lead gen or marketing. And that's money that you're spending in order to create incoming business. Now, you also want to have leverage. Even if you're not going to hire somebody full time, you can hire virtual assistants, you can hire a transaction coordinator, and you want to start out with an 8-lane highway. You don't want to wait until you need the 8-lane highway to build it. Start out with one and grow into it. So I want you to start from the very beginning thinking, what part of my business am I going to leverage to other people? Remember, the 80-20 rule says that 20% of what you do creates 80% of the results. So it's important that we understand what's the 20%. Well, the 20% is lead generation. It's going on appointments with buyers and sellers. It's taking seller listings. It's writing offers and negotiating contracts. And it's practicing and role playing your scripts. Those are the 5 things that generate income in your business. So everything that I didn't list is something that can be leveraged to somebody else. And if we start out with a 10% budget, then we got another $30,000 that we're going to have here for salaries. All right. So 30, 30, 60, 72, 72 away from $300,000 is $228,000. Did I do the math right? I think I did. Somebody check my math and let me know if I'm right. So I have a $228,000 net income based on $300,000 gross income. Sean, how's the math? Did I do it right?
I am driving that 60. That's
224.
224.
76.
No matter.
Yeah.
Never mind. Onyema got in there and got it for us. Thank you, buddy. 224. All right, so we have a net income of 224,000 on 300,000 gross income. Our cost of sale was 16,000. We're spending 10% on lead generation and 10% on leverage. That leaves $224,000. Very simple budget model based on a gross income of $300,000. All right, now the next question is, what do we need to do in order to earn a gross income of $300,000? Well, if my average commission is $10,000, that means I'm going to have to close 30 sales. And if 50% of my business is seller listings, let me make sure this is on the board. That means I'm going to have to close 15 sellers. And I'm also going to have to close 15 buyers. Hey, Onyema, can you get your calculator out? Because I'm going to ask you to do math for me as I'm figuring this out for you guys, okay? Gotcha. So if I want to close 15 sellers, I want you to take that and divide it by 0.75. What's the answer?
20.
Okay, so I need 20 seller listings. Now, the reason that we're using 0.75 is because over time, and when we're looking at all markets, right? Over time, 75% of the seller listings you take should close over time. Now, in a really tough market, that number is going to be lower. It might be 50%. And when you're in a really, really good market, maybe 100% of the listings you're taking are closing. But over time, use 75% as your average. Now, the next question is, okay, in order for me to take 20 seller listings, how many appointments do I need to go on? And if your conversion ratio from a listing appointment to a listing is 50%, then that's 40 appointments. I want you to aim for 75%. 75% conversion ratio is a good conversion ratio. Now, as you get better at your 14-point listing presentation, as you master each one of those steps, that conversion ratio is going to go up. You're going to take a higher percentage of those listing appointments you go on are going to turn into seller listings. But let's use 75%. So Onyema, if you would, again, if you haven't already done it, take 20 divided by 0.75 and let me know what the answer to that is.
26.6.
Okay, so we're going to round that up to 27. So I need to go on 27 listing appointments. All right, which is an average of about 2 per month. It's a little bit more than 2 per month. Now, the next question becomes, in order for me to go on 27 listing appointments, what are my daily activities look like? What do I need to show up and do every day in order to go on 27 listing appointments? Well, let's just say, and just so you don't think, okay, we're just winging this. No, we're not. This is why we track numbers. One of the things you should be doing every day is tracking how many calls you make, how many people you speak to, how many appointments you go on, listing appointments, listings taken, because over time, you're going to be able to predict future business because business is just a math equation. But let's say it's for every 100 conversations I have, I'm going to schedule 1 listing appointment, right? So we're going to take 27 times 100, that should be 2,700. Take 2,700 divided by 250 days. How many conversations is that every day? Just over 10? Is it 11, 12?
11, about 11.
All right, so let's just say this math is right. Not telling you it is. My gut instinct is it's going to be higher than that. Okay, but let's say this math is right. Now, all I have to do is show up every day and have 11 real estate conversations every day in lead generation plus follow-up in order to generate 27 listing appointments so I can take 20 listings, close 15 sellers. Now, when you look at the buyer side of this conversation, the numbers are similar, but they're also just a little bit different. Here's the other thing. The best source for buyer leads is seller listings. So the reason we focus on the seller side of the equation is because the best way for us to close 15 buyers is to take 27 seller listings. Everybody hear that? The best way for me to close 15 buyers is to take 27 seller listings. Now, the ratio from a buyer agency, an exclusive buyer agency agreement to a buyer closed is going to be higher than 75%. That should be closer to probably around 90%, because if somebody agrees to work with you and they're ready, willing, and able to buy, and they sign an exclusive buyer agency agreement, at least 90% of those should go to closing. Now, your ratio from meeting with a buyer in a buyer consultation to a signed exclusive buyer agency agreement might be less than 75%, maybe it's 50%. So in order to close 15 buyers, I want you to take that and divide it by 0.90.
About 17.
Yeah. So I'm going to need 17 exclusive buyer agency agreements. Now, that's 34 buyer consultations, or we'll just say buyer appointments. Now, if our conversion ratio from a buyer lead, somebody's calling you on a sign call. Hey, I need more information on that property over there at 123 Main Street. And you take the call and you create a lead. Now, the conversion ratio from a buyer lead to a buyer appointment is 10%. Let's just say that, and again, this is track your numbers and you'll know exactly what your numbers are. Business is a math equation. So if it's 10%, then we're going to need 340 leads. Divide that by 50 weeks, and you're going to have about 77 per week, excuse me. That's 7 buyer leads per week. All right. Assuming my math is right, and remember, your numbers are going to be different than my numbers. I just want you to get the formulas down. Assuming my numbers are right, I'm going to need 7 buyer leads per week in order to generate 350 leads, in order to schedule 34 buyer appointments. Those are buyer consultations, to take 17 exclusive buyer agency agreements to close 15 buyers. I need to go on 27 listing appointments in order to take 20 seller listings in order to close 15 sellers. If my conversion ratio from a conversation to an appointment is 100 to 1, then I think that was 2,700 conversations in order to generate 27 listing appointments. Now remember, these are numbers that I am strictly pulling from the air. I'm using a swag method. You guys are going to like this. So swag method, SWAG, is a scientific wild ass guess. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down your numbers. I want you to track everything you do, because business is a math equation. Simple. Business is a math equation. And when you understand the math of your business, then business is also predictable. You could show up every single day and do the things that you need to do in order to get the amount of business that you need to get. You stop going from I'm just doing the best I can, which is the plan that most people follow. So what's your plan in order to earn $300,000? I'm just going to show up, work hard, and do the best I can. Cool. Great plan. Hashtag sarcasm. I want you to have an actual plan that you're following in order to get to the destination that you want to get to. In my goal setting series, I call it the yellow brick road. And when you're on your way to Oz, there's only one way to get there. It's the yellow brick road. And here's the other thing we know about the yellow brick road. When you follow that model, it always ends up in the same place. It never ends up anywhere else. It's predictable. Your business is predictable as well if you track your numbers and turn your business into a math equation. Like my buddy Hank says, it's math versus drama. So there's a whole lot of drama going on. I get it. The industry is crazy right now. We've got natural disasters, you've got a shifting market, and the solution to this is math. Just figure out the math that gets you where you want to go and follow the plan. All right, questions, comments, talk to me. By the way, if you're looking for more in depth, because this was quick, if you're looking for more in depth business plan model, I am going to be scheduling a class in November. I'll make sure that all of you have the Zoom link to that. It'll be a 2-hour class where we go through a very in-depth business plan for 2025. All right, questions, comments, talk to me.
It's good food. Seeing is believing. Gotta
Yeah.
gotta write it down. Gotta get it on paper. So yeah, I definitely appreciate this. This is awesome.
I like what you said. Okay, so your business plan, whiteboard it. Put it up in your office so you can see it. Have a scoreboard. You know, going to a sporting event would be absolutely boring as heck if there wasn't a scoreboard. Have a scoreboard for your business, turn it into a sport, play to win, keep score, and track your success.
I think most people are just winging it,
Yeah,
including a lot of people on my team. They just wing it.
yeah. Darren, it's right, right? And everything we do has a math equation to it, by the way. Everything we do. It all boils down to what are the activities that I need to do in order to end up with the result that I want to end up with. If you're traveling from Austin to Cincinnati, you just get in your car and drive north, probably not the best plan. Now, think back before we had GPS. You had to pull out the map, you had to plan, you had to know exactly where you were going. Today, you just plug in the address to your GPS and it's going to take you there. Well, think of this business plan as your GPS. It is simply a roadmap to get from where you are to where you want to go.
Right. Reality is, though, as everybody says, oh, it's the market. I'm not on the right team. I'm not at the right brokerage. I'm everything under the sun.
That's
But
called being a victim.
here's the blueprint, though, right here.
It's 100%. That's called being a victim. You know, you can either have reasons or results. You get to choose whichever one you want. Now, if you want to hang on to your reasons, that's fine. I'd encourage you to choose results. Anyema, beautiful baby. Oh my
Thank you.
gosh. I want to spotlight you so everybody can see this adorable child.
Her name is Delta.
Delta. Ah,
Oh, man, that's awesome.
so cool, man. Enjoy every day.
I'm trying. Or I will, actually. Not try. I will.
Hey, Darren, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. This is literally just a printout.
Mhm.
And those are all the things from my pre-foreclosure. Those are my expireds, my NODs. And these are just, and all I do is a piece of tape. And it literally says 5 emails. Did I email them? I put a dry erase marker right over the top of it.
Right.
And those are my activities
That's
every
right.
single week on what I do. And it's the
That's
same
right.
thing every week.
That's right.
And it goes right there on my
There it
whiteboard.
is. There you go. There you go.
Nice.
That's it, man. All All right, guys, make it a great day. I hope you got really good value today. Go out there, plug in, get to work, make it happen. Hey, I want to share a quick story with you guys before I go. So I'm going to embarrass Olga here. Sorry, Olga. And Olga and I are having a conversation yesterday afternoon. Now, I want you to put yourself in her situation and ask, what would I do? So she's calling for sell by owners. She gets hold of this guy who says, well, I'm out of town, but you can go over and look at the property if you want to. All right, there's the first obstacle. Are you going? Then he says, oh, by the way, the property's tenant occupied. So now you have a for sale by owner that's tenant occupied. And that's your second opportunity to say, yeah, this is a waste of time. I'm not going. But she stays in curiosity. She goes on the appointment. She calls him after the appointment. They're having a conversation. End result, tenants are moving out. He hires her. She's got the listing. It's vacant. It's a beautiful property. It's going to sell. And she got the listing simply because she stayed in curiosity and she went on the appointment. Think of how many other real estate agents called this guy and said, it's a waste of time. I'm not going. Proud of you, Olga.
Well, I have to give kudos to you because I called for sale by owners in the past, and that was a disaster. My conversations were not geared towards getting any results. So this was more structured, and I felt more confident for sure. So,
Well, I appreciate that, but you did the work. So you deserve all the credit.
thank you.
Way to go, girl. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Make it a great day.
Have a great one.
All right, go get it.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you.
Okay.